Michelle Davis here, and I'm a business coach and host of the Boss Experience podcast. And I created this training for individuals or professionals that are interested in turning their expertise into an online coaching business that replaces their 9 to 5 income. So if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. So you may have caught my other video or training that talked about the 3 key things you need to get started as a coach. And I talked about having expertise and a track record of delivering results to people. I talked about having a process, and this process is your approach to setting your clients up for success and actually getting people results. And then the third thing I talked about was having a method or a way to consistently get in front of your ideal audience so that they know you exist. This training dives a little deeper, and I talk about the key components to launch a high-value professional service business that attracts and converts buyers. So I'm going to run through everything really, really quickly because I don't want to have you here all day, and I want to just give you the meat and potatoes, so to speak. And, this is a completely no fluff training. So if you're seeing me for the first time or you're just new to coming across me, you've never seen me before, like I said, my name is Michelle Davis. I'm a business coach. I'm also a mom to a teenager, and I'm also a mom to a couple of pets. I have a dog, lizard, yada, yada, yada. And I love pets. I love, just having them in my home. I think your home is, filled with joy when you have animals and pets. I am a former nonprofit manager. I had a 22-year career in nonprofit management, and that career was essential to me being able to make a transition into entrepreneurship and eventually as a coach because I had a lot of skills that I was able to bring over with me, both my hard skills and my soft skills. And I'll get into that in a moment in terms of how you can, view your skills and expertise the same way. I started my entrepreneurship journey in my 40s. And so because I know it's possible, I have, just a little tolerance for anyone that sits there and says things aren't possible, that you're too old, and that's just not true. And that's the confidence, talking, the lack of confidence talking to you. And it's the internet talking to you because you're spending too much time on the internet, and it's weighing on your confidence, it's weighing on your ability to feel like, having an online coaching business that can actually make you money is even possible. And I also mentioned that I'm founder of CEO Blueprint Academy, which is my business mentoring program. And I'm host of the Boss Experience podcast. And, that's a podcast all centered around helping people turn their expertise into an online coaching business. So for some of you, this is a reintroduction. And then for others, this may be the first time you're seeing, hearing about me and you've never heard of me before. Either way, welcome. I hope to deliver tons of value for you in this short training. So when we think about coaching, what are these essential components, right? So key components to starting any business, no matter what you're starting, coaching, e-commerce, whatever it is that you're starting, there's some key essentials and some key components you need to keep in mind. You're going to have to address your mindset. You're going to have to focus on goal setting. You need to be able to have an idea that can lead to a profitable business. And when it comes to coaching, you have to be able to solve a problem for people. You need to vet out the problem or the idea that you come up with to make sure it's going to be profitable in the marketplace. You need to actually design your services, your offer, your program, your products. You need to engage in some planning. You need to create a marketing and sales process. And it's so essential that you know what systems you have to implement so that you know exactly what you have to have in place to get your business started. So let's talk about the first one, mindset, and also goal setting. So when we think about our mindset, so many times entrepreneurs are, they're kind of coming into the the online space and they think instantly they're going to become this instant success. They just have to find the right business idea, and they often look outside of themselves to to find that idea or to figure out, what it is they should be doing or operating as a business. So they're not prepared for the roller coaster that comes when things don't go in a straight line like what they're expecting. And so their expectations don't always align with the reality of starting a business. So they don't have a schedule. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing to really get themselves to the level of success that they want. And as a result of like looking outward and looking online, trying to find this magical business idea that's going to make them six figures, they lose confidence when they hit a bump in the road and or they don't feel confident about their own ability to achieve a result with what they know. Because if you spend any time in the online world, you know that there's people selling all kinds of ideas. There are all kind of business ideas and methods of making money online. There's a lot of coaches, but the thing that you hear less about is that you already have within you everything you need to get started because you are the expert. You just have to package and price everything together. And so when you don't spend the time to really develop your mindset and walk into the marketplace with that mindset, you are going to struggle when it comes to feeling confident about who you are as an expert. And so you have to condition your mindset for success. And, you may have to talk to yourself, through affirmations, reaffirm the positivity of the fact that you are an expert, that you're confident, that you have everything you need to be successful as a coach. And when I say you have everything you need, you have the expertise. It's just, figuring out how to package it and price it. And you have to be resilient in any business because you have to be able to know when to pivot. You have to be able to bounce back when you have a setback. And the key here is being able to set yourself up for success, as much as you can through business mentorship and through coaching as possible so that you limit or you kind of offset the number of failures you're going to have. Now, coaching and mentorship doesn't prevent you from encountering failure in any business, but it does help you gain clarity faster. It helps you understand what it is you're supposed to be doing and helps you put the pieces together quickly. And the thing is, when you think about mindset in a nutshell, as one of my mentors once told me, is we have to be willing to be really bad at something first before we can get good at it. And so that's the mindset you have to have coming into entrepreneurship. And that's how you need to think of this journey, not as something where it's going to lead to you to be instantly successful as a coach, but that you're willing to be really bad at being a coach or, to make sure that you develop the skills and the knowledge necessary to be really good at it. So I hope that makes sense to you. And so let's talk about goal setting. So when it comes to goal setting, you have to know what it is you're starting when it comes down to business. Are you starting a side hustle? Like, are you starting a business that you want to eventually replace your 9 to 5 income. You have to know what you're starting coming in, because if you don't know what you're starting coming in, it's going to be hard for you to really focus in on what you're doing, because you're going to kind of be all over the place. And so know what your goals are. Know what, at the end of everything, what do you want to happen as a result of you having this coaching business? You know, set SMART goals, and make sure you evaluate and update your goals regularly. So when we talk about SMART goals, you want to think about, what is your goal specifically? So if your goal is, let's say, to replace your 9 to 5 income, that's pretty measurable. And what is it measured by? Is measured by your revenue. So when we think about your revenue, the revenue that it takes, for you to actually leave your 9 to 5 means you have to know how much money you need to actually do that. And that requires some goal setting. And so what ends up happening a lot of times when we think about our goals, if we don't have our goals set, we end up doing things that don't align with our goals. So if your goal is to leave your 9 to 5 income, which is very specific and it's measurable in terms of how much you make, because you have to know how much it takes for you to live comfortably and to operate your business. And that's your benchmark. That's what makes this this goal measurable. Once you know that you don't want to charge, small fees for your services. You know that you have to develop a high value service for you to meet your goal, right? Makes sense? And then the other piece to SMART goal planning is it has to be achievable. So it is 100% achievable for you to replace your 9 to 5 income with an online coaching business. It has to be, it does take time for you to do that, but it's 100% achievable with the right help. And it's also realistic. It's realistic because other people are doing it, and they're not necessarily smarter than you. They just got started before you. And so it's absolutely realistic. And you just have to understand the time frame in terms of what it will take for you to get to the point of being able to meet the goal of leaving your 9 to 5. And I'm just using leaving your 9 to 5 as an example. Everyone that becomes a coach doesn't necessarily want to leave their 9 to 5, and that's totally okay. Okay. So that's just an example, but you want to have a big overarching goal for why you're starting this online coaching business. And then once you have that overarching goal and you know exactly why you're getting started, everything you do, you're going to clearly be able to see how it aligns with your big goal. Okay? So let's talk about your business idea, and how you're going to identify what problem you're going to solve as a coach or other type of service provider. So I always share the simple process for people to figure out when it comes to coaching, what exactly is their expertise? What are their skills? What exactly are they qualified to do? And it really starts with what you already know. So to do that, you have to think about, what are your skills? What are your expertise, coming from your career, coming from your personal life? And you want to definitely sit down with some pen and paper and do this, and just do essentially a brain dump and write out everything you're good at. And these are not just your hard skills, the things that you would put on a resume. These are your soft skills as well, because part of being a coach and the type of program or coaching or how you package your expertise is going to depend on how you envision yourself working with people. Okay. So think about your expertise that you've acquired over the years, whether it's expertise in your career, things you've overcome, what are your interests? Write it all down on some paper. And then you want to look at everything you wrote down and you want to link it to a particular problem that you can solve, one problem that you can solve with that particular skill set. So let's say you wrote down that you're good at, I don't know, let's say customer service, Excel, or you're good at managing IT, which is information technology. Whatever it is you wrote down, write one specific problem you can solve with that particular skill set, right? Couponing is another one because, people think they can only coach on things they've done in their career. And you can coach on anything that you've developed expertise in. And you just have to have a track record getting a process and a track record getting someone else results. Okay. So, yes, you may have gotten yourself results, but can you take that same process that you use to get yourself results and get those same results for other people? So, make sure that when you're thinking through about what problem you're qualified to solve, that you can actually link that problem to a particular set of expertise because you don't want to think about what problem you're going to solve and you don't have, expertise or a track record solving that problem. And you want to highlight, which problem you can imagine yourself solving or that you'll enjoy solving because whatever it is that you start as a coach or the type of coach that you end up becoming, you want to enjoy what you do. Okay. You don't want to create another job for yourself or create a business that you dread being a part of. So this is a time when you're going to think thoughtfully about what you enjoy doing and what you can imagine yourself doing. And this is where the process of elimination starts because as highlight, what it is you enjoy doing, because everything we're skilled at, we may not want to carry into a business. There's things that, skills you may have developed over the years that you just don't see yourself building a business around because you didn't enjoy doing it. Maybe it was something for your job that you did it, you were forced to learn it, you were trained on it, but you hate it. Cross it off the list. Cross anything off the list that you can't imagine yourself doing or a problem you can imagine yourself solving and things that you don't enjoy. Cross it off the list. Then with what you have remaining on your list, then you want to identify products and services you can offer for each problem identified, right? So everything doesn't have to be the kind of coaching where you think you have to sit down with someone one-on-one. And I'll give you some examples in a little bit about the type of ways you can monetize your expertise. But just think about what kind of services individuals may need that are experiencing this problem. That's why it's really important that you understand and have worked with people with this problem before and that you've gotten people results before addressing this problem because this will be really easy for you to kind of identify, what kind of services they could benefit from. And don't worry about like fine tuning things right now. You just want to dump out exactly as things come to your mind and everything that comes to mind. Then you'll eventually refine the list to, down to one problem and one product or service you'll use to solve the problem. Okay? So this sounds complicated. It may sound complicated, but it's actually a simple process. And you may want to screenshot this page so that you can take your time and think of it, as 5 steps, defining your skills and interests, things that you've overcome, things that you've experienced in your career, things that you've mastered in your personal life. You have so much depth and levels to you, and you need to tap into all of that as think about what you're skilled at. Then you link that to a problem you can solve. Then highlight the things that you would enjoy the most and would, absolutely love to build a business around. And then you think about the products and services you can offer for each problem identified. And I'll give you some ideas in a moment here. And then you're going to refine that list down to one problem and one product or service you'll solve, in terms of the problem. I'm sorry. Then you'll refine the list down to one problem and one product or service you'll use to solve the problem. Okay. So make sure you take your screenshot, and then now I'm going to move on. Okay. So the next big piece is your market research. So just because we have an idea, we think, our expertise or whatever it is that we came up with is going to be profitable, you have to look at the market. And so you have to ask yourself, is there a demand to solve this problem? What's happening in the industry already that would allow me to, capitalize on this industry? Now, you don't have to come in and think that there's not going to be competition. There's going to be competition no matter what you choose to focus on in your coaching business. That's when you want to think about what gaps can you fill. And when I thought about, when I first started out as a coach, the first thing I thought about, like everybody's focusing on the coach that's already in business and how to get them more clients. And they were ignoring the people that hadn't really started yet or didn't start correctly or didn't establish those foundational pieces. And so if you were coming in new, you were kind of lost because you can't get clients or you're not in a position to get clients until you establish some basic foundational pieces, particularly when you're coming from a lengthy career. And so that is the gap that I feel in the industry. So you have to think of what gap do you fill? And you can use resources like ubersuggest.com. You can Google, your coaching niche or the coaching niche you're thinking about pursuing. You can use resources like answerthepublic.com and social media to conduct your research and gain insight into your industry. So let me talk about Uber Suggest for a moment. So Uber Suggest is free. You just are restricted to 3 searches a day. And so Uber Suggest will give you a sense of the keywords that people are using in your industry. So it's important that you think of, what are some of the keywords that people are focusing on. So if you're a life coach, you don't want to put in, you could put in life coaching and be general and kind of see what Uber Suggest spits out. But you know, as you get some additional preliminary output from Uber Suggest, you did want to kind of refine, your expertise a little bit deeper into what you specifically want to focus on in your life coaching business, because you're not a life coach per se. Maybe you're focusing on dating, maybe, helping people find more fulfilling, dating relationships. Maybe you're focusing on helping people avoid divorce and, repair their marriage. So there's different areas that you're going to focus on based on your expertise. And so you want to start off broad in Uber Suggest and then get more specific. You get 3 free searches a day, at least at the time of this video. And so, just play around with it. And it'll tell you, the popular keywords that are showing up in your industry related to what you want to do. And you can use those keywords to help you further conduct research, whether you're looking on social media and doing a little bit of social listening. It'll help you maybe find people that are talking about the topic that you want to focus on in your coaching business. And you can find those individuals on social media and see what people are talking about within their comments or in their circles. You can look on Google your niche, now that you got some essential keywords that you're working with. And another big tool is answerthepublic.com. And answerthepublic.com enables you to, put in, again, those general keywords, and it'll spit out to you what kind of questions people are asking online related to the niche or related to the problem you want to solve. So gather insight, see what people are struggling with, what kind of questions are they asking, and that will help you kind of, you know, refine your programs and services in a way that meets those needs. And when we think about meeting needs, let's talk about product design and development. So your client has expectations. When you're a coach, your client is coming to you to solve a problem. And so they want to know that they're learning from an expert and they want to have a high value experience because after all, they're seeking a solution that fixes an unbearable problem with strategy and not information. And here's the thing, when people come to me and they want to create or develop an online coaching business that can eventually replace their 9 to 5 income, they really want to know how specifically can they do that? What specifically should they be saying when they get on a call with someone to talk about their coaching business? What specifically um, can they create and post on social media? What specifically do they do to figure out what their ideal client wants to hear on social media? They want specifics and about what it's going to take for them to solve this problem. And so when you think about your coaching business, you have to think specifically about what strategies you're going to provide to your clients to get them over, this hump, to get them through this problem, right? And it's not information. People can get information online. So when you get to the point of your coaching people, they want strategy. And so when we think about like how do we deliver this information to people, there's so many ways to do that. And here's just some examples of ways you can package your services. And it's not just one-on-one. You don't like when you think of like one-on-ones, and I talk to so many people that want to start a coaching business, and I think these 60 to 90-minute coaching sessions are the gateway to starting their business, and it's not the gateway. Sure, individual sessions, the 60 and 90-minute sessions are great for maybe fine-tuning your process a little bit, um, getting in the habit of talking to people if that's a obstacle for you. It's great to include with other more in-depth services, but you can't build a profitable coaching business around 60 to 90-minute sessions. Yes, you can have individual sessions, but they need to be high value individual sessions because you want to solve a big problem for people. If you solve small problems, you're going to get small payments for that. If you solve big problems, you're going to be paid accordingly. Okay? You're going to be paid as a high value expert. And so here are some ways for you to package up that expertise. You can do it through a group program. And, group programs are challenging to start because, if you're new, as a new coach, they're challenging to start because if you're new, it's hard to get up that momentum to get a group of people to start paying you thousands of dollars to be in your group program. But over time, you can find yourself, pivoting and going and modifying your coaching program into a group program or your coaching service, taking it and transforming it into a group program. And there's also VIP days. VIP days it can be a one-on-one type of VIP day. You can do like a one-to-many where you have a group of people all trying to achieve the same thing in that VIP day. But these are most effective when you have one person that needs to solve a big problem and you create a VIP day for them that's essentially 4 to 6 hours. And of course, there's breaks in there in between it, and you have to, there's a whole process to scheduling these, but a VIP day enables someone to get results or overcome a huge problem they're experiencing. And they get to do it in that one day working with you. There's weekend retreats. Weekend retreats are great. I've been to weekend retreats, I've invested in them, but weekend retreats are time consuming to plan. It's nothing you can really plan very quickly, meaning you may need like a year to plan your weekend retreat. And it's something that's best done with a client base that you establish because they already know you. People aren't going to go to a destination with someone they don't know or they're not in a community with, or they're following in a sense. So weekend retreats are great ways to leverage your expertise. You can partner with someone else to host this retreat. You can think of it as doing something, for your existing network if you're kind of walking into your coaching business with a network already. You don't need 50 people in your retreat. You can have 5 women that are totally committed to learning what it is you have to, offer and teach them about that may want to, join you for a weekend retreat. So don't think of it as something that's out of your league. Just look at your existing circumstances and see if that's something doable for you now, if it's something you want to do or something you want to, put on your vision board or, establish as a goal later. You can repackage your expertise in a course. The thing is, though, with courses is that, it's kind of hard to build relationships from a course. So maybe this is a perfect example of where you'd want to add that individual session so that people can get the most out of, the course. Because with courses, most people don't watch the course or they don't watch it completely or they don't implement anything they learn. And that's just a well-known statistic. So maybe incorporating maybe, 1 or 2 individual sessions with the high-end course that you create, the high-value course that you create, it may be worth it to have those individual sessions to keep people engaged and to increase the likelihood that they'll actually go through your course and get results. Then you have live events. And just like weekend retreats, live events are a challenge to pull off as a new coach unless you have an existing network. You can also partner with people to host a live event. So there's all kind of ways you can host a live event, but that's another way you can deliver your expertise. And then if you have a book or you have some other service, you can leverage the live event and sell your products at the live event and make sure everything you're building is designed to help you sell, your book or whatever it is that whatever else you may have going on. Then there's software as a service, also known as SaaS. You may have seen SaaS floating around in the online space. And software as a service is essentially software that helps someone's life be better so that someone could be a business owner. Most of the time, when you're talking about SaaS, you're talking about B2B sales, which is business to business. So you as a coach, your business, you would sell a software to help someone change their life or to help their life be better in some way, or in this case, their business be better in some way, help them grow their revenue, help them streamline a process within their business. Now, software can be developed if you have like an idea for a software, but it's developing software is very costly. And it's not something I would recommend people do just starting out. But what you can do is you can sell a software that's already in existence, right? And if you sell a software that's already in existence, then you could use that software within your consulting business and you as an affiliate of that software company, you would gain both from utilize it, showing other business owners how to utilize the software, and also for your whatever expertise you deliver to the business. So if you want to learn more about that, reach out to me directly, and I have a resource I can share with you. The next is done for you service. So done for you service means you do the work, you're the hands. And unlike, the traditional coaching where you're helping to guide someone to a solution, with the done for you service, you are the solution. So you have to think about if that's something that you feel you want to do as a part of your business. And then there's physical products too. And physical products can be books and other types of physical products to help people in, some way, shape, form, or fashion using your expertise. There's signature training programs. If you did a particular signature training program in your career, you can certainly take that on and build your business around that particular training, as long as it's something that came from you and you developed. You don't want to do any trademark infringement if you just delivered a program that, you were trained on, and you simply delivered based on that training. So if there's something that you developed in your career or something you can develop based on your expertise, then you can definitely do that and take that out on the road and develop your business around it. And signature training programs and, art of such are all part of consulting. And as a consultant, you can either come in and deliver something like a training program or a particular type of workshop, or you can be very specific about the problem you solve and work with businesses that are having that problem or companies that are having that problem, and essentially embed yourself into that business and help them come up with solutions to resolve that particular problem. So these are just some examples. It's not intended to be an exhaustive list, but these are all the different ways you can package up your expertise. It isn't just in the form of a one-to-one session, okay? And I actually have a podcast episode specifically around more detail about these different methods of packaging up your services. So if you're interested in getting that episode number, so you don't have to search through 100 plus episodes of my podcast, just reach out to me. Depending on where you're watching this, you can comment. You can also reach out to me at hello@michelledavisnyc.com, and Michelle is spelled with one L. So you can reach out to me that way, or on any social media platform. And again, my username is Michelle Davis NYC on all platforms. And it's Michelle with one L. And so you can reach out to me and let me know that you want the podcast episode covering the different ways you can package your services. Okay. So when we talk about packaging and pricing your service, it entails, it entails creating an offer, but you also have to create an offer that addresses an urgent need. And when we think about what's an urgent need for people, we have to think, how pressing is this for someone to solve this problem? So if I'm experiencing a headache, for example, and I'm just using headaches because my daughter experiences migraines, she suffers from migraines. So if I'm having a headache and my headache, it's something that I'm going to first, maybe pop an Advil and I'll see if it goes away. Or maybe I'll jump in the shower and, see if steam clears it up. Or maybe I will, take a nap and see if that clears it up after I take the Advil. Those are all things I'm going to try first before I ever reach out to a coach. So you have to keep that in mind before your client reaches out to you. They've already tried solutions to solve the problem and it didn't work. And so that's why they're coming to you. because you're the last result for them in a lot of cases. And so when you think about the urgent need, if I can solve the problem myself, I'm not gonna like seek out a coach. I'm not gonna pay thousands of dollars to solve that problem. The other thing about urgent need is the need has to be something that they envision as a problem. It can't be something you think is a problem or that a problem that you've noticed they have. The person has to feel like this is a problem that they desperately need to solve. So keep continuing on with the example of the migraine. So let's say the Advil doesn't solve it. The steam from the shower doesn't solve it. The nap didn't solve it after they took the Advil. And the problem gets to the point where it's impacting their life. They're missing days of work. It's impacting their family life because they're snapping at their spouse. They're experiencing all these other problems as a result of not being able to fix this problem, and as a result of them having to be in constant pain as a result of the problem, then it's an urgent need. If someone presents a solution to them, they're going to take it. And so you have to think like what made you buy the last thing that you bought or the last high-end thing that you bought. It was something that you saw in that when it was presented to you that you felt like you needed it. And so that's the same thing that people need to feel when they see what you have to offer as well. Because if people don't see that it's something they need, they're going to, keep searching because they're going to conclude that you're not the right solution for them. And so you have to look at how you're going to capitalize on those gaps that I mentioned in the industry. What's missing as it relates to your expertise and as it relates to the people that you actually want to help in your business? What's missing? And then you have to develop messaging that attracts your ideal client because based on your expertise and based on what you're offering, you'll need to know who best benefits from that offer and who will best benefit from what you have to offer. And you'll have to develop messaging that attracts that ideal client to you. And you need to be able to deliver something that's impactful, an impactful product or service. It has to be something that they're like feel they need, and they're gonna tune in to what you have to say so they can get the best, bang for their buck. They can get the most from it, but most importantly, they can solve that problem. And when we talk about coaching, we're talking about transformational journeys. We're talking about that person going from their current reality to their desired outcome. And so your offer needs to take them on a journey, and you need to have benchmarks within that journey so that you know that they're where they're supposed to be in your transformational journey. And this is just your big promise to them. What is it that you're going to actually help them achieve? What outcome will you deliver to them as a result of that person hiring you as a coach? And I already mentioned, it needs to appeal to your ideal client, and your pricing is based on the value of the outcome. And so you need to get out of the mindset that you can only offer low ticket value to someone. You have so much richness and depth, as I mentioned before. You just have to package it up in a way so people can see the value that you have to offer. And when we're talking about having a high value product or service that's going to enable you to replace your 9 to 5 income, it's really about the math. It's really about the math. And so when you think about the math and what it takes is, to leave your 9 to 5, you have to know how much does it take, how much does it cost for you to, for your current lifestyle. It's also helpful to know how much it costs to fund the lifestyle that you desire. And when you think about your current lifestyle, you want to include your business expenses in there as well. So it's helpful to know those things. And you have to know what you're working toward. And once you know what you're working toward, it becomes easier to price out your programs and services, because most of the time a lot of coaches are undervaluing their service. They're undercharging. And so you just have to charge your value. I'm not saying, charge $10,000 for an inferior product or service, or charge $5,000 for an inferior program. Think about what is the value of your solution and charge accordingly. Now let's talk about planning. When we're thinking about launching a coaching program, before you ever, flip the switch, to say I'm in business, you have to think about a few things first, because all of these things, when you're preparing to sell, go into you being able to launch successfully and for you to be able to get clients. So when we think about preparing to sell, you need to know what date are you launching, because the date you're launching, you want to put it on the calendar, and you want to build marketing activity around it, which I'll talk about in a moment. But you want to build marketing activity around it. You want to have a process. How are you going to bring someone from conversation to client? What has to take place for that to happen? You want a platform, to bring people to. Are you going to use a landing page, which is probably how you came to meet me, or are you going to use a website? A landing page is a short form way to lead someone to one action, and a website includes everything you do. So, like, you need to think strategically about how you're going to lead people to you and what process you're going to lead them through. Payments, how will you collect payments? And what is your process to communicate to your clients how they'll pay you? Will you accept payment plans? Branding, what kind of identity and visual characteristics are you building out? And I wouldn't say spend a lot of time on branding, but you want to get some initial branding started, as a part of your coaching business build out, so that people can begin to identify you, and they can know who you are based on your visual characteristics. But branding goes beyond visual characteristics, it's also identity. So you need to get familiar with those things and figure out, how you're going to establish your branding. And I wouldn't spend so much time on the visual, but I would spend some time on the identity piece, because people need to know who you are before they connect with you. You need to know who your ideal client is. And by doing that, you need to think of your ideal client as a person. Who are they as a person? And what is it that they need and want from you? And what are they experiencing? And let me go back a moment to the need and want part. That goes to the pain points. What do they need? What problem they want to solve? But when you think about your client avatar, think about who that person is, and everything about them. Create a story for them. Because when you create the story, and you can identify, who this person is, and that they're a real person, because you're going to be dealing with real people and real problems. It helps you better understand that person and what their needs are. Okay. And then you want to think about audience building. How will you build your audience? Are you going to use social media? Are you going to use YouTube? What are you doing to build an audience? Are you going to do podcast guesting? And then you want to decide on your customer journey, your back end, and this is your back end development. This isn't your programming. So your back end development, okay, so once someone sees your landing page, or they raise their hand and they say, I want to learn more about you, what happens next? And then what happens after that, and after that, and after that. So you have to know what that journey looks like for your business, so that you know exactly what to do when someone says, hey, I want to sign on with you to work with you as a coach. You need to know what resources you have on hand. This is not just financially, but also, do you have everything you need to launch your coaching business? Or do you need a resource to launch your coaching business? And when you think about your coaching business, you have to know all the different elements of your coaching business, and how you're going to, put those pieces together. You're going to need business tools. You're going to need, email, a method of emailing people. You're going to need social media accounts. You know, you're going to either need paid ads or a really good organic strategy to get clients, and whether that's being influencers, webinar, whatever it is that you need to do to get your clients, you need to figure that out and figure out your business tools that you're going to use, how much it's going to cost, so that you can have a business budget so you know exactly what it's going to cost to operate your business. And yes, there's some free things you can do to operate your business, but you don't want to think free. You want to kind of lay out, this is what I need to operate my business. These are all the different tools in a perfect world that I need to operate this coaching business. And then once you know all the different tools you need, then you can start kind of diving in and looking at, once you look at the budget and establish the budget for those things, then you can kind of see, well, what do I need to pay for? What, do I, how much money do I need to pay for these things? What things can I do for free or get for free? So let's talk marketing and sales. So the big thing I want to share with you is marketing and sales is two different processes. Most of the time, people are selling and they're not doing enough marketing, right? So remember I said that there's, you can podcast guests, you can go on social media, you can do all of these things. Those things as individual activities is not marketing. Those are individual activities. Marketing is the process of putting together a plan to get you the results that you're seeking. So ultimately, when you're a coach, you want to get someone into a conversation about your business, your services, so that they can sign on and enroll in your program, right? Or purchase your service. Marketing is all the different activities you'll use to get them there. It's the awareness that you're going to develop around what you do. It's the audience building. It's the distribution of your content assets, whether it's video or, images, whatever you're using. It's your identity, your messaging, and you pre-qualifying people in terms of who you want to work with, before they ever hop on a call, with you, because the last thing you want to do is to hop on a call with people who aren't even looking for what it is you have to offer. So your marketing does all of these things, right? And by the time you get to sales, it's conversations and it's a transaction, okay? So if you've pre-qualified people, you're talking to the right person, you know exactly who it is that is going to best benefit from your service, and you're able to attract that person, and you're building an audience of those kind of people, then it makes it easier for you to have conversations with people and for them to see the value in you being able to be the solution to their problem. Okay. So marketing and sales are two different processes. Social media alone, posting on social media, that's not a marketing plan. You need a marketing plan that's going to include multiple activities for you to get the end result of having, which is having people sign on and enroll with you and raise their hand and say they want you to be their coach. So now let's talk systems. The reason you want to create systems is you want to document your operations, right? So systems documents your operations. It focuses on, what works, because as you get better at what you do, you're going to learn what didn't work and what did work, right? So remember when I said that you are going to have to be willing to be really bad at some things before you can be good at it. Being bad at those things and the failures that you're going to experience along the way are going to help shape you and help you be better at what you do. You may be bad at marketing. You may be bad at figuring out what to post and how to engage with people. But the more you do it and the more you create systems around doing it, the better you'll be at it. Okay. And when you create systems, it enables you to have replication and it allows you to work as a CEO to work on as opposed to in your business, because you want to work on your business where you're constantly developing and you're growing your business. You don't want to be so engrossed on working in your business that you can't, have that high level overview that you need to really develop and grow your coaching business. And systems are the foundation for scales. If you're just like showing up every day and doing random activities, that's not a system. You need systems that are things that you're doing every day on a regular basis. Some of your systems will be automated, and most of your systems will be automated so that you know exactly what it is you're doing and you're cranking out your business in a way that's going to lead to growth, and it's going to lead for you to be able, allow for you to be able to scale and bring other people into your business that can help you further grow and scale. So what systems do you need in your business? Lead generation and client acquisition, program delivery, product sourcing and development, customer support, client and team onboarding. And if you're not, don't worry about not being, in a position to have a team, but you do need to know how you're going to onboard people into your program. Client management, team training, if you're big enough, hiring and team management, eventually, once you have enough revenue in your business, communication and inquiries, tools used for your business, marketing planning and activities, sales process, invoicing and payments. And these are just the preliminary systems that you need to think about. And this list, looking at this list may be like daunting to you. And I just want to just say, don't leave the presentation because this list is so long and you feel overwhelmed. I'm just putting it up front, or putting it out there in terms of what you're going to need to efficiently and effectively operate your coaching business. Once these items are put into place and they're functioning for you and they're working for you and your business, it's a lot less daunting than it looks, because these are just generic terms. What makes these things less generic and what makes these things more, clearer and for you, gives you an ability to understand them is applying them to the specific type of business you want to start. So when it comes to getting your coaching business launched, you may be thinking, where do I even begin? Where do I begin? I'm confused. A lot of terms I've heard over the last, several minutes in this presentation. It is just overwhelming and it sounds very, very stressful. And I've been on the internet streets for a while and I've been circling around all these different coaches and I've been attending webinars and downloading ebooks, and I'm still confused. And I still have the question, where do I begin? And I just want you to take a moment and imagine you could turn your expertise into a coaching business without the overwhelm and without stress. Imagine you could set goals for your new business with ease and effortlessly. And imagine you could determine that niche that matches your expertise, right? And imagine you could develop your signature coaching program with a simple blueprint. And imagine you could create a pre and post-launch marketing plan that's going to get you into the marketplace without all the confusion about what it means to market to people and how to get people attracted to you, and looking at what you have to offer. And imagine you could establish the necessary systems to launch your business. Well, you absolutely don't have to imagine it anymore, because you can absolutely do that with the Expert Business Launch Planner. This 120 plus page business launch planner will enable you to do everything you need to do to get your business launched. It gives you the essential foundational pieces to get your business launched, right? It will give, this planner allows you to have an understanding of what you need to do preliminarily, to get your business launched. It helps give you a starting point for your coaching business. It helps you navigate those like questions you have in the beginning about getting started. The one thing it can't do is replace mentorship and coaching. But if you're not in a place to have, a mentor, or you want to make sure that you're even right to be a coach in the first place, maybe you want to tease some things out in your mind and kind of get a sense of what your coaching business would look like if you launched it, then this planner can help you do that as well. But you have to get started to do it. And if you purchase the planner, then you're eligible for a free, no obligation call with me to create a customized game plan for your coaching business. So, my advice to you is to go ahead, visit bossbusinessplanner.com to grab the business launch planner. And a lot of what I covered in this presentation, your planner is going to help you kind of get the basics out of the way and begin to answer those preliminary questions that I know are in your mind when you're thinking about starting a coaching business. Maybe you're thinking about, am I right to start a coaching business? Am I the right type of person to be a coach? And you have to begin to frame your mind around the fact that, coaching can take on many different shapes and forms. And once you know what those shapes and forms are, it makes it a lot easier for you to move forward in your business and to be able to get it launched, to move forward in the planning of your business to get it launched. And your Boss Business Planner is essentially that. It's a big planner to help you plan out your business. It's a digital planner. You can use it with GoodNotes. You can use it with Notability or any of the other journal apps to help get you, to help get the juices flowing, to help get you started. It also is a PDF fillable, so you can actually, use it on your desktop. Just make sure you're saving your work regardless of where you use it, and then you can come back to it. And you can plan your business from essentially anywhere on your phone, on your desktop, and you can finally get those questions answered about where to start. So you have two choices here. So you can go ahead and visit bossbusinessplanner.com to grab the Expert Business Launch Planner, or you could say, you know what, I'm going to figure things out on my own. And, if that's what you want to do, I wish you all the best. But the bossbusinessplanner.com is the way, go ahead and visit that link so you can get the tool that you need to move you forward. Why spend time confused, and why waste time being confused? And, the price is going to go up soon. I'm still in the preliminary introductory price period. So I would advise you to not delay, because I can increase the price at any time. So go ahead and grab the Expert Business Launch Planner at bossbusinessplanner.com. Bye.